In this episode, I'm going to show you how I prepped my motorcycle for long distance travel, starting off with a stock KTM 390 Adventure. In this episode, I return to Guadalajara with all of the gear and parts that I picked up in Arizona as I get ready for my solo motorcycle trip from Argentina to Alaska on my KTM 390 Adventure. I'll be prepping my motorcycle and replacing some of the stock factory parts like the plastic handguards and skid plate with much sturdier ones made of stronger materials. I will also be adding a number of accessories like a crash bar, a rear luggage rack, and a luggage system, among several other goodies. This is what I'm starting out with, a stock KTM 390 Adventure motorcycle. The ultra clean VW thing in the background belongs to my buddy Dan. Here's some more before shots before I change anything. I've got to admit, it is a nice looking bike. After unpacking all the stuff that I brought back from Arizona, this is what I have. I made a list of everything and can send you a copy if you write gear list in the comments below. While I was unpacking, for some reason the police showed up and they parked out there on the street. They left a little while later. After putting everything away, it's time to get to work. I'm starting out with something extremely easy, which is changing the stock 2-piece seat for a 1-piece seat. Besides being better for off-road riding, it's also supposedly more comfortable. I really like the stock handles on this bike, but have to remove them so I can mount the Tusk rack in the back. It bolts into the same holes that the stock handles bolt into, and I make sure to use blue thread lock on all the nuts and bolts to keep them from loosening. Once I bolt down the plate and I tighten everything, I put the seat back on and I see how the Moscow Moto luggage system will fit. Next, I bolted on the oversized kickstand plate using a little silicone to keep it from rattling. Today I'm removing the mirrors and the handguards because I'll be replacing them, but the big job for today is to get the GPS wired and mounted. For that I need to open up the headlight housing, and I'm not looking forward to it. It's held together by a bunch of screws and they all seem to be different sizes. Got the headlight out and found the unswitched accessory wires that I'll be using to power the GPS with. I went ahead and cut the GPS wire to the right length, crimped on the terminals, and put some heat shrink tubing over them. With that done, I routed the GPS wire through the headlight housing and connected it to the unswitched accessory wires. Now time to test it. And it works! Yesterday I got the wiring done, but ran out of daylight before I could get the GPS mount installed. So that's what I'm doing today. Here I'm assembling 3 different parts. The bottom part is an aluminum adjustable mount made by Nice CNC. That one bolts onto my bike right above the dashboard. The top part is a Touratech mount that clamps onto the GPS and has a locking mechanism with a key, making it harder for someone to take my GPS. In between those two goes a Garmin mount that the GPS attaches to and that has the wiring to power it. Here the challenge was reassembling the headlight housing and figuring out where all of those different size screws go. If you're planning on pulling apart your headlight assembly, I strongly suggest that you label each screw so that you know where it goes when you put it back together. And there it is, it works! And I like the way it turned out. With that out of the way, I'm getting to work on my handguards. The stock ones are made entirely of plastic, so I'm replacing them with some aluminum brackets by T-Rex Racing, along with some BarkBusters wind deflectors. As for the mirrors, I'm replacing the stock ones with a double take adventure mirror kit. These mirrors are designed with 2 pivots so that they just bend out of the way if I drop my bike, instead of breaking like stock mirrors tend to do. After a fall, it's just a matter of adjusting them into place again. Next, I'm installing some 25mm spacers to raise the handlebars to improve the riding position when I'm standing on the foot pegs. The stock clutch cable ends up being too short after raising the handlebars, but fortunately there's a quick fix for that. It turns out that the clutch cable off a Royal Enfield Himalayan is just a little bit longer than the KTM 390 cable, and it fits just fine. Next on my list is to remove the flimsy stock skid plate because I'll be replacing it with a sturdy aluminum one by T-Rex Racing. They also offer the crash bars that are designed to work with their skid plate. I'll be mounting those first. Now that the crash bars are mounted, I'm installing the skid plate, making sure to use thread lock on all the nuts and bolts. And that's how it's looking so far. Another one of the stock parts that's made of plastic is a radiator grill. I'm replacing it with an aluminum one that is also made by KTM. Next, I'm removing the stock fender and replacing it with a high fender kit by Tusk. I'm going with a high fender because the stock fender can get packed with mud, jamming the front tire. Besides that, I like the way it looks. After removing the stock fender, I install the plate that the new fender attaches to. Then, I attach the clamp that holds the cables in place. The kit includes a template to drill the fender. And now it's just a matter of bolting the fender on. This kit also includes templates to cut the side covers off the stock fender because these are reused. The next step is to replace the stock foot pegs, which are angled slightly forward, but ideally they should be level for off-road riding. It seems that they just kept the same foot pegs off the Duke 390. I'm replacing them with some by Black Dog Cycle Works, which besides being level are also larger and they are a ½ inch lower, giving me a little more leg room. By then I'd run out of daylight, so I went over to visit some friends and got adopted by their dog. Pretty good breakfast. After that, for me, it's back to the grind. I need to remove the chain so I can install the chain guard that I bought. After bolting on the chain guard and feeding the chain through it, I installed a new master link, but I was having trouble getting the clip on it, and I decided to just finish up the job the next morning. Next on my to-do list is to install my Moscow Moto Reckless 80-liter luggage system. Here I'm assembling the harness that mounts to the bike and holds the luggage dry bags. The harness is held in place in the front by two straps that I'll be attaching to my passenger foot peg brackets. In the rear they include a pair of straps to hold it to the rack, but they also offer an optional metal attachment accessory that they call the knoblin and that replaces the rear straps. Here I'm attaching the part that goes on the harness. And here I'm installing the part that goes on the rack. With those two parts installed, the harness slides onto the rack attachment point and it has a knob to hold it in place. Then it's just a matter of attaching the two side straps and the harness is ready to go. I also need to mount the heat shield. One final little accessory that I'm installing is a USB charging port that goes under the seat, which seems like a strange place to have it, but it is an original KTM part. And here it is, all packed up and ready to take me from Argentina to Alaska. On each side I have a 25-liter dry bag as well as some 4-liter bags below them and some tiny bags above them. On top I have the 22-liter tail bag that comes with a luggage system, but I discovered that I wasn't able to fit all of my stuff, and I ended up buying another 25-liter bag that will also be going up top. Along with those two bags is a tent pole bag that I'm using to put my tripod and selfie sticks in, and I'm using a separate bag for the tent poles. In the back I have two 1-liter water bottles with another 1.5 liters in the tank bag. On top of my tank bag is my first aid kit. That wraps up the prepping of my KTM 390 adventure for this epic motorcycle trip. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe, because in my next episode I'll be going on some short trips to try everything out. Also, let me know what you think of my prep job in the comments below.